Good morning, students. Welcome to your business studies class. So, today we will be discussing chapter number 7 and the element of directing, that is motivation. Now, before discussing the elements of directing, let us just quickly revise that what is directing. Now, directing in the context of management of an organization, it refers to the process of instructing, guiding, counseling, motivating, and leading people in the organization to achieve its objectives. That means it is putting the plans into the action, and it is also known as the heart of management. So, there are various elements of directing, that is communication, supervision, motivation, and leadership. Today we will be discussing or starting with the first element of directing, that is motivation. What is motivation? Now, motivation refers to the process of stimulating people to action to accomplish desired goals. Now, it can be defined as the process of making subordinates to act in a desired manner to achieve certain organizational goals. So, it depends upon satisfying needs of people. For example, in order to get a toy, a child may be prepared to learn a poem. So that means when we are stimulating the people's action to accomplish desired goals, so when we want a people to do a particular kind of thing or to achieve the goals, so we may motivate them, we may stimulate their actions so that they can work towards attainment of the desired goals. Now there are three interrelated terms, that is motive, motivation, and motivators. Now what is motive? Now, motive is an inner state or desire which energizes, activates, compels, and directs an individual to behave towards accomplishment of objectives. So, motives arises out of the needs of an individual. Realization of motive causes restlessness or tension in an individual, which prompts some action to reduce such tensions. For example, motive to earn induces a person to search for job or work. Suppose if a person is having a motive to earn, so that person will start looking for a job or for any kind of work so that he can earn. Some other motives are hunger, thirst, comfort, recognition, affiliation, etc. Next term is motivators. Now, motivators are the techniques used to motivate people in an organization. Managers use different motivators like pay, bonus, promotions, recognition, praise, etc. That is the incentives to influence people to contribute their best towards the realization of organizational goals. That means what technique you are adopting to motivate that particular person so that he works towards, what incentives you are giving to the person so that he works towards the desired manner or accomplish desired goals. Then motivation is a process of stimulating people to action. It depends on satisfying needs of the people. Now let's discuss few features of motivation. The very first feature or characteristics of motivation is internal feeling. Now it is an internal feeling of an individual. The urge, drives, desires, aspirations, striving or needs of human being which are internal influence human behavior. That means until and unless you do not have any desire, you are not urging, your drives are not there, aspirations are not there, you will not be motivated towards anything, your behavior will not be influenced. For example, people may have different urges like possessing a flat, motorbike, car, AC, reputation in the society. So these are the internal feeling which helps or which basically derives their behavior towards a particular thing. Next is goal directed behavior. Now, motivation produces a goal directed behavior. It induces people to behave in such a manner that they can achieve their goals. For example, if a person has a motive to get promotion, so he will work efficiently to achieve this goal. Then it can be either positive or negative. Now, motivation can be positive or negative, but the objective of both is to induce the people to work in the desired manner. For example, let's take positive motivators are increase in pay, promotion, bonus, respect, recognition, etc. So these positive things are happening and they feel motivated. Now, while negative motivation or motivators are stopping increments, threatening, warning letters, memos, punishment, demotion. So these are the few negative things that may motivate the person to work hard for a particular thing. Now, next is motivation is a complex process. Now, it is a complex process as the individuals are heterogeneous in their expectations, perceptions, and reactions. Any type of motivation may not have uniform effect on all the members. Some are motivated with financial incentives, whereas others are motivated with non-financial incentives. For some, this positive motivators may have an positive impact. Negative motivators may also have a positive impact. That means they start working. Some may take that negative motivator in another sense and they may not have a positive impact on them. So it is a complex process. That means it depends on people to people and their behavior, their perception, their reactions towards a particular situation. Let's discuss the motivation process. Now, motivation depends on the needs of the human. So, the main steps in motivation process are: first is unsatisfied need. Then that unsatisfied need leads to the tension, which leads to drives. Then they start searching for the various alternatives through which they can satisfy their needs. Then satisfaction of needs and reduction of tension. So first is unsatisfied need. Now the process of motivation begins when there is an unsatisfied need in a human being. That unsatisfied need of a person gives him tension or anxiety. Then this tension or anxiety creates an urge or drive in the person and he starts looking for various alternatives to satisfy the drive or urge. Then after searching for various alternatives, the person puts best alternative into operation to satisfy his needs. And then if the need of a person is satisfied, then he feels motivated and his tension gets reduced. So let's take an example. Suppose in an organization, an employee feels that his income is low. He is experiencing a need or deficiency for additional income. So to satisfy this need, the employee searches for different alternatives, such as looking for a new job or working hard so that to earn more pay and promotion. So he chooses the option of working harder. Now, if his hard work results in pay raise or promotion, the worker feels satisfied and continues to work hard. But if he fails to earn a pay raise or promotion, so he may decide to look for job elsewhere. So motivation, it is a continuous process and it does not end by fulfillment of one need. So after fulfillment of one need, another need develops and the same process continues till need keep emerging in human beings. Let's discuss Maslow's need hierarchy theory of motivation. Now, this theory was developed by Abraham H. Maslow, an eminent and a famous psychologist in 1943. The theory is based on human needs. According to Maslow, a man has innumerable or countless needs. If one need is satisfied, another need emerges in that place. So he proposed that human needs can be classified into five categories and they can be arranged in order of their importance or priority. So this arrangement of human needs according to their priority is called hierarchy of needs. As you can see in this pyramid also, that first is the basic physiological needs. Then once this need is satisfied, another need arises is the safety or security need. After this, social affiliation, belongingness or love needs arises. Then esteem or ego needs and the last need is self-actualization needs. Now in an organization, people have a wide range of needs like physiological needs, social needs, safety, esteem needs, and self actualization needs which motivate them to work. So the manager must understand the needs and wants of people in order to motivate them and improve their performance level. For the satisfaction of these needs, manager must offer different incentives like monetary and non-monetary incentives. For example, let's say a manager can use financial incentives, that is pay and allowances, bonus, to satisfy the basic physiological needs of lower level employees. While to satisfy the social and esteem needs of higher level employees, non-financial incentives like status recognition plays an important role. Now let's discuss these needs in details from both individual perspective and organization perspective. So first is basic physiological needs. Now in this category, those needs are included which are very essential for survival and maintenance of human life. Physiological needs are the most basic needs and must be satisfied before all other needs. So these needs include air, water, sleep, food, shelter, clothing, and other necessities of life. If we think that how management can satisfy these needs in the organization, so they can offer monetary incentives like good salaries, wages, and comfortable working conditions. The next is safety and security needs. Now, once physiological needs are reasonably satisfied, safety or security needs arises. Safety needs include physical and economic needs. Physical safety includes protection against accidents, illness, fire, extreme weather, terrorism, and other types of physical dangers. While economic security means having adequate funds to meet the future physiological needs and to come out of physical security, fear, or threat. Now, management can satisfy these needs by offering job securities, pension, insurance, stability of income, etc. to their employees. Next is affiliation or belongingness needs. Now, these needs include affection, acceptance, friendship, sense of belongingness, etc. Now, the firm can encourage team building and permit the workers the opportunity to interact socially and so develop cordial relations with colleagues. Next is esteem needs. Now, these include factors such as self respect, autonomy, status, recognition, and attention. So, the organization can satisfy these needs by offering challenging jobs, recognition, providing good job titles, etc. Then, last is the self actualization needs. These needs are the highest level needs in the hierarchy of needs. So, these include growth and self fulfillment. Self actualization needs refers to the desire to become what one is capable of becoming. So, the organization can satisfy these needs by allowing the employees to take initiative to become what they are capable of becoming, encouraging creativity leading to achievements of goals, etc. So these are the five basic needs of Maslow given by Maslow's. Like first is the basic physiological needs, then safety and security needs, affiliation and belongingness needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. There are few assumptions of Maslow's need hierarchy theory. They are: people's behavior is based on their needs, satisfaction of such needs influence their behavior. Then people's needs are in hierarchical order, starting from the basic needs to other higher level needs. A satisfied need can no longer motivate a person, only next higher level need can motivate him. A person moves to the next higher level of the hierarchy only when the lower needs is satisfied. So as we have discussed earlier also, that Maslow's theory focus on the need as a basis for motivation. So it helps the manager to realize the need level of the employees. It should be identified to provide motivation to them. For example, financial incentives like pay, bonus can be used to satisfy the physiological needs of lower level employees, while to satisfy social and esteem needs of higher level employees, non-financial incentives, for example, status recognition plays important role. So today, to sum up, we have done or we have started with the first element of directing, that is motivation, and we have discussed the meaning of motivation, features of motivation, the process of motivation, and very important Maslow's need hierarchy theory and the assumptions of this theory. I hope you understood the chapter, the topic of motivation. Thank you so much.